This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34 to chapter 11, verse 1. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. Don't think I've come to make life cozy. I've come to make a sharp knife cut between son and father, daughter and mother, bride and mother-in-law. Cut through these cozy domestic arrangements and free you for God. Well-meaning family members can be your worst enemies. If you prefer father or mother over me, you don't deserve me. If you prefer son or daughter over me, you don't deserve me. If you don't go all the way with me through thick and thin, you don't deserve me. If your first concern is to look after yourself, you'll never find yourself. But if you forget about yourself and look to me, you'll find both yourself and me. We are intimately linked in this harvest work. Anyone who accepts what you do accepts me, the one who sent you. Anyone who accepts what I do accepts my Father who sent me. Accepting a messenger of God is as good as being God's messenger. Accepting someone's help is as good as giving someone help. This is a large work I've called you into, but don't be overwhelmed by it. It's best to start small. Give a cool cup of water to someone who is thirsty, for instance. The smallest act of giving or receiving makes you a true apprentice. You won't lose out on a thing. John the Baptizer. When Jesus finished placing this charge before his 12 disciples, he went on to teach and preach in their villages. The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Gospel according to St. Matthew chapter 10 verses 34 to chapter 11 verses 1. Today is the feast of St. Benedict. He established in the Church a way of life rooted in the Gospel and grounded in the principles of charity, humility, stability, and faithfulness. The spirit of St. Benedict's rule is summed up in the motto of the Benedictine order, Pax, that is peace, and ora et labora, pray and work. Pray and work for peace could be the message of St. Benedict for the modern world. Faith in Jesus is never easy. Faith could be a battle within ourselves because our faith would demand us to do away with our selfishness. Desires for wealth, power, and pleasures do not get along with our faith in God. Our faith could also be in battle against the situations and people who try to dissuade us from our faith. Our workplaces, our work schedules may not be suitable for us to practice faith. In certain cases, the society or the people in authority could prevent us from practicing faith. In today's Gospel, Jesus warns us of this conflict. It may happen within our family, our dearest environment. Misunderstandings or rejection arises because of our faith in Jesus. Today, the temptation for many in the families is not to mention about matters of faith in order to maintain peace in the family. Ironically, this absence of faith in God has become the major reason for lack of peace and happiness in modern families, although we seldom realize it. Through the categorical teaching of Jesus, Matthew brings home the most important message for today's world. Faith in God cannot be compromised. He who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. He who loves his son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Of course, Jesus loved his family. He lived in a family till he began his public ministry with his parents, his dear and near ones. Faith should be lived as a family. But if the family ties prevent us from believing in Jesus, the option is clear: God first. Remember the story of the mother and brothers of Jesus going to meet him at the beginning of his public ministry? The message of Jesus is nothing light or anything abstract. It cuts right into our family lives. How many youngsters today care the least for their faith in God while choosing their life partners? How many Catholic parents take their kids to swimming lessons or music classes on Sundays and ignore their own life in faith and their responsibility to bring up their kids in faith? And how many Catholic couples consider it normal to terminate a pregnancy when a child is considered inconvenient? When confronted with such challenges in life and faith, do not be discouraged, but fall back on Jesus for help. The Lord helps us make the right choices and take the right decisions.